Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's your pixelated homie. This is the first episode of TNT. This is where I go over tips and teams for the characters of Aether Gazer. So this episode is all about our girl Hades. I know a lot of people are confused about her kit, so I'm gonna try to somewhat help with that and also give you some current and future teams that you can run with Hades as well. So let's get straight into the video, starting with tip number one. Tip number one is make sure you use the right Mimir. I know a lot of people are using the resource cat Mimir, especially if you pull for hell, but the resource Mimir is completely useless in the Hades team. This is basic information, so we won't spend too long on this, but Hades needs to manage her resources at a certain level. So using the resource Mimir will mess her rotations completely up. The two best Mimirs to use with Hades is the blue Mimir and the ninja. I would recommend using the blue Mimir when you have a full Olympus faction team to capitalize on the modified mode bonus. This Mimir is very potent with Hades, Oneiros, and Hera. Just make sure to pick up the AI chip that increases damage during modified mode, and I promise you will be surprised at how fast you can shred enemies down in modified mode. The ninja Mimir, we don't have to talk about that because it's literally the best Mimir in the game, so of course it's going to be good. If you're still using the pink Mimir, bruh, come on bro, we gotta talk. We gotta do better than that, bruh. Hades is here now. Take them training wheels off and let's get with the program. Nah, I'm playing. Y'all know how I feel about the pink Mimir, but anyways, tip number two is dealing with her combat mechanics. So Hades has a unique mechanic where you have to balance her combat resources in order to stack buffs and gain access to a completely different skill cast. And it seems confusing, but it's honestly easy, guys. You just have to practice a few days and it'll start to become natural. So I won't go into too much detail, but I will say don't be afraid of using her different Aether codes. Her blue Aether code works very well when you use her with Oneiros for the ultimate skill chain, but most people will probably use the red Aether code. So the worst thing you can do is gain too much divine grace with her red Aether code. The goal is to keep her divine grace between 40 and 60, so you want to stay around 50 divine grace. If you start gaining too much grace, then it's very difficult to lose, especially if you're using the ultimate skill chain. It's a little easier if you're using her normal ultimate, because you can reset it to 50, but if not, then it's a little trickier. If you want me to do a dedicated video on her resource management, let me know. I might do it, but I feel like y'all got it. It's not too hard, trust me. One quick tip is if you use one basic attack, you will lose one grace. So if you're in a tight situation, you can use that if needed. Also, keep in mind the enhanced versions of skills can be used for different things. So her enhanced skill 1 is a very powerful single target attack that's very good at shredding bosses, and then her enhanced skill 3 is for clearing mobs. So depending on the situation, you have very powerful options to choose from. That was like 3 tips in one, so let's move on to team suggestions. Okay, so for our first team is going to be the meta team. This is going to be the strongest team you can run for a long time, okay? We have Hera, Hades, and Oneiros. So this team is self-explanatory, but let's go through it. First of all, we have the full Olympus faction bonus. This is going to buff how fast you can get into modified mode, and also how long modified mode lasts once you trigger it. If you pair this with the blue mirror as stated before, it will make modified mode last even longer, and you can even use the AI chip to increase damage while in modified mode. So let's just say that this team can take advantage of modified mode in ways that other teams can't even imagine. We have Hera in this team, which I don't have to tell you how powerful Hera is. She's the best support in the game. We know this. Oneiros though, Oneiros is an interesting character because she gets a lot of value from just existing on the team. She's a very low investment unit. So all you really need for Oneiros is to slap some support sigils on her, whether it's for healing or for ult charge. Level her up a bit and then she's good to go. Her being Olympus faction and then having an ultimate skill chain with Hades is what makes her valuable. But that's really the only team she shines in. So Hades can exist without Oneiros, but Oneiros doesn't really have a spot anywhere else. That leads us to our next team or group of teams, which is a combination of Hades and the new Olympus faction characters like Oceanus or Athena. We are entering a new meta with Hades because all the new upcoming Olympus faction characters are all beasts. They are all very strong characters and they're all capable of leading their own teams because they're all pretty self-sufficient characters. And some of them can also provide the team with decent buffs as well. So Hades, for example, her ultimate has a team-wide crit buff, which crit rate and crit damage are stats that is very limited. There's not too many sources for crit, which makes Hades also a decent support character. Imagine that, right? So you can take Hades, Oceanus, and Hera for example, and it will work very well because all of them are overpowered in their own right. I'm working on a series for team building, so I'll go into more details then. Last team I would suggest would be another future team, and honestly it's one of the best teams in my opinion, and that is Hades, Anubis, and Bastet. This team goes so hard. Anubis and Bastet are two very powerful characters. Bastet has one of the largest dark damage resistance shreds in the game, and she can maintain this debuff almost 100% of the time. It's like a 2-second downtime on it. She's also one of the best A ranks in the game, and her damage potential is kind of crazy for an A rank, so she's definitely useful in this team. Anubis is a very solid character with consistent damage. He has decent AoE attacks, but is also very effective with single target, so he's another self-sufficient character with decent self buffs. Bastet has her shadow damage resistance shred, but besides that, she also has a lot of self buffs in her kit. So all these characters are working together to make the ultimate shadow damage team. So definitely try this team out if you ever get the chance to. Alright guys, that is the video. I'm going to try to continue this series with the characters I personally use and have experience with. So be on the lookout for more TNT episodes. I hope you could get some value out of this video. Any questions or suggestions, please comment down below. I will answer to my best ability as always. If you made it this far into the video, I hope your future pulls go super well. Hope you get Hades very early and hope that you enjoy Hades. I know it's been a long time for some of y'all, so go have fun with the game. Anyways, that's all I got guys. Hope y'all have a good day. It's your pixelated homie. I will catch y'all in the next one.